alert right away. They waited a day. They've also been telling everyone that she was not abducted. But if she wasn't abducted, then why haven't they made a move on it yet? I don't know. I find it all to be quite suspect, really. If she wasn't abducted, you think they would have had enough to arrest somebody, or they would have been able to at least figure it out where she went and what happened to her. I don't know. I think it's terrible. And I'm really starting to think they're to blame. I mean, they haven't even told people anything. They haven't. All they did was the last thing they did was come out and tell us that she wasn't abducted and everyone was a suspect. But if you're so positive she was not abducted, why hasn't it been solved? I mean, I think it's really foolish to say that when she could be out there. If somebody did take her and she was abducted, I think it's pretty terrible. I mean, I'm not trying to fault the police because, of course, they're great people and they're working hard. But I think there's been some mistakes made here. And, you know, maybe that needs to be addressed. Maybe that would help. If you tell everybody the little girl is not abducted, nobody's going to be looking for her. If everybody thinks she's abducted, they will be looking everywhere for her. Like they are Gabby Petito, somebody that people know something weird happened. That, I don't understand. Good morning. Hi, guys. I don't know. You're up early like me. But I'm starting to think maybe, that was the thing. If we'd done that right, if they'd issued the Amber Alert right away, like you're supposed to, then maybe she would have been seen while somebody was trying to move her. By the time they issued the Amber Alert, they'd already gotten her where they were taking her. I don't understand. Do you guys have any thoughts? Let's see. Let's look here. The property is very remote. That's true. And so somebody's not just going to stumble on her like they would if she lived by the post office. You know what I mean? She won't be stumbled upon. That doesn't mean it wasn't somebody that knew her, that went after her on purpose. Or there could have been somebody that even saw them in town or at the swimming hole and followed them home. Or, if Candace stopped for drugs on the way home, maybe somebody there saw her. That's been my biggest abduction theory the whole time, is that that's part of Candace's missing time is she picked up drugs. And maybe somebody there saw her and followed her home and kidnapped her. I think that's possible. I just think if it was the family or anyone surrounding the family, they should have found something and got them already. I mean, these people don't seem, that sly. There should have been blood. The cadaver dogs would have picked up on something. Like, none of that stuff happened. So, why haven't they solved it yet? And I know there's YouTubers on here that are positive the parents did it, but I don't see how they think the parents did it and got away with it. Because I don't. You know what I mean? I don't see that. Do you? I mean, at this point, plus they have, substance issues. They get messed up all the time and call people. Like, if these people did it, I think they would have caught them by now. I really do. I mean, I find that concerning. And like grandma taking off. What was that? 2 days later, grandma splits. And she usually comes back by now, and she hasn't. And when Candace was asked, she said her mom wasn't coming back and she didn't know when she was coming back. I don't know. I think you know, Does anybody else think that maybe if the police had moved more quickly or acted differently, that this might have gone somewhere? They aren't telling people anything about the investigation, which I understand is to protect the integrity of the investigation. But, you know, I'm not thinking they found anything. They've been everybody's been so distracted by all these stupid things, like the Twisted Tea and Hunter and Allie and Jeannie and Mary and all this stuff that has nothing to do with anything. And meanwhile, this kid's missing. Nobody can find her. If she isn't abducted, then why can't they find her? And I would think that, anytime a kid goes missing, especially like a kid under the age of 12, they should always issue an Amber Alert right away and then figure it out. Always be on the lookout for this child. That's what the Amber Alert is for. Why is it in the last few years they're waiting a day to issue an Amber Alert on a child? That's ridiculous. They should be doing it straight away on the chance the child is kidnapped, that everybody in the area is looking for the child. It doesn't matter if they're not kidnapped and we find out later something else happened. We need to treat it like they were kidnapped to begin with, just because if that's what happened to them, we will not find them if we don't treat it that way. That whoever took the kid will get them to where they're taking them before anybody's even looking. If they don't issue that Amber Alert, people can just pick up a kid, take them where they want to. 24 hours later, they issue an Amber Alert. Nobody noticed anything, so nobody says anything because, they weren't looking. I don't know. I think it's pretty bad. I don't know. Nobody is offering an opinion to me. You don't have to. It's early. I don't blame you. I've been thinking about this for a while, though, and it's making me mad. Like, people didn't try hard enough for her. You know, they made too many assumptions and just wanted to think they were right. And in the process, they decided that they didn't need to look for her. It's very sad. She's been gone over 3 months. Let's see. How long is it now? 94 days she's been gone. Everybody's moving on to other cases and other things. And do any of you think this is ever going to be solved? Because I'm starting to have my doubts now. It's been too long. They never even found the truck, the red truck they were looking for. Oh, you're not a suspect, just a witness. So why would they never found it? Maybe it wasn't a witness. Maybe it was the person that abducted Summer was abducted, and this person's only a witness. Nobody ever made anything of it. I think they need to come out and tell us more. If you've been working this case this long and have not found this baby girl, you need to come explain yourself. If you have not been able to find out anything up until this point, and that's your job, you need to come forward and tell us why you are having a hard time doing your job on this one. This is a little kid missing. It's the most important part of what you do. It really is. If you're law enforcement, missing children are probably about the most important thing they handle. And if for some reason you don't find that little girl, you should probably come tell us why. I think, don't you? Them parents deserve an explanation. They've been getting put through the ringer. Nobody's got enough to charge them with anything. What somebody, somebody got some splaining to do. I think. What do I know? I'm just a little old woman in my little old house, but you know, and it's caused so much chaos and so many terrible things. So many people pray for that little girl every day, and they have for months. Just prayed their heart out. Do you think she's gonna be lost forever and we're never gonna find her now? Because that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid this is, they just didn't handle it right from the beginning, and because of that, they're not gonna find out what happened. If somebody did abduct her and they didn't issue the Amber Alert early enough, they haven't been treating it like a kidnapping. She'll be hidden so well away, nobody's ever going to find her. It's very sad. She's a lovely girl. And I think they should have done a better job for her. I really do. She deserves to be brought home. And she deserved to be looked for right in the first place. No matter what people's suspicions of her parents were, we should have put those aside and went out and looked for her like somebody took her. Because now we haven't found her. Everybody was too busy, looking in the basement and up on the hill. And she's not in those places, she's somewhere else. It's heartbreaking. I wish they would have done a better job. And I really don't mean the searchers or anybody there on the ground. I mean the people that made the decisions about how this case was going to be handled and how they were going to treat it. Because where is she? If it wasn't her parent, if it was her parents, why haven't they got them? That's the first thing I said is if it was these people, they're not that bright. They're not going to have a hard time catching them. That's what I thought in the beginning. I thought, well, we'll know pretty quick whether or not she was abducted or her parents did something because, they're kind of oafs. So, it would stand to reason they'd get caught right away. The other children have been taken out of the home, and the younger boy is separated from the older boy, and it's been this way now for quite a while. You think if something had went on that day, they would have gotten those boys to say so. Why hasn't anything been done? Why hasn't anybody moved on the case? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. If this many agencies have been working it for this long and they can't find her, one little girl, she's not trying to hide. Maybe somebody trying to hide her, but I don't understand. Well, I thought I'd get on here and see if anybody else, had the same kind of thinking as I do. I hope y'all have a great, great Sunday and it's nice and relaxing. And I hope we find something about her soon, but it's not looking like we're gonna, I'm afraid. It'd be terrible if this is one of these unanswered questions forever. It just break my heart. I hope something big moves. I hope we find out something soon. Maybe the law enforcement will decide to start being more open, maybe so they can move on the case. But let's hope so. Little summer. Poor kid. I might be back on here later. I've been doing a bit about Gabby Petito as well, so I might come back on and talk about there. Hello in South Australia. How are you? Do you have an opinion? Do you think law enforcement maybe dragging their feet or taking the wrong approach is the thing that's hurt the case? Apparently, doing that takes my audio out, so I can't do that. Boop. What if I do this? There we go. Do I still have audio? I hope to God I haven't been sitting here talking to myself. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the girl has been gone for 94 days and still nothing. If it was the parents, they should have got them by now. If they don't have a suspect they're working on, then maybe, they need to open their net a little wider so we can catch somebody. You know, not a word from them. I find it really, it's just weird. Is there like corruption in the department or something? Is the person involved with it, you know, far enough up that maybe the police department would protect them? I don't I don't know. But something seems wrong. Like they should have caught somebody by now, or they should have been telling us more by now, like where she might be. They say, "Oh, she's not abducted." Well, if she's not abducted, where is she? If you know she's not abducted, then that should mean you have an idea what happened to her. Or are you just saying she's not abducted based on odds? Because that's messed up. Because then you don't really know. Odds are, a funny thing. Just because only, what they say, only 200 kids in America a year are abducted by a stranger. That doesn't mean she's not one of the 200. Just because they think, oh, that's just a little number. That's 4 kids a state. That's enough, I think. For them to like, oh, it's not as many as you'd think. Well, and that's the ones that, that doesn't count the ones that go missing that they decide weren't abducted like her. That doesn't count them. Yeah, I know. And you think if the parents had done it right, because they're kind of so off their rocker, they would have made a mess all over the place, I would think. Like, I do not see them people covering their ass out well. And even if like grandma is the one that covered, everything up because she's more on her toes, she's been gone for a long time. I don't I don't see how they haven't gotten enough evidence to arrest somebody. It sure makes the community look bad. And you can't put missing flyers up there where they live in Tennessee. You cannot put flyers up for anything. A missing dog, a yard sale, nothing. Not even missing children. Because people used to put up yard sale things and leave them there. Are you kidding? Make it illegal to sell things on telephone poles. You know what I mean? So, like yard sale thing like that. Missing pet, missing kid, fine. What kind of community says you can't put up pictures of a missing child on the telephone pole because it violates our garage sale thing we have? Like they made that rule about garage sale. I know, but they made like a blanket rule that you can't put flyers on phone poles because people would put up yard sale signs and leave them. So now a kid goes missing. Oops, sorry. People go around and take them down. Who's taking the pictures down? And has anybody looked in their basement? I also think Allie really weird. Why Allie don't let nobody in her house? She talk all kinds of crap about Candace, but she won't let us in her house. What's going on in there? People talk about how, you know, John and Candace live. That woman won't let nobody in her house. I know, isn't that the stupidest rule you've ever heard of? Maybe if like a million people write them and tell them to change it, they'll change it. I don't know. I was really upset by that though. And like when Candace and the boys went around putting up Summer's flyer, there were places that were telling them they couldn't put it there, like businesses. Please tell us who they are. We won't, you know, people shouldn't give them business if they're, no, you can't. That messes up our window. We don't want that there. And I think if they'd handled it differently, you know, we might have found her. We might have known something by now. But with the way they've done it, I really don't see, unless somebody comes forward, you know, there's always a chance that some guy took her and, had her in his mom's basement and his mom knows. Yeah, I don't think they did anything. I mean, they do drugs, but I mean, to be honest, do any of us know how you would go about selling a kid? I don't, and I imagine they don't either. They don't seem very savvy about anything. Yeah, I think that if they had been them, we should have got them by now. And if they haven't gotten them by now, and it is them, what the hell are they doing? Oh, that's good. That's good. I don't. It's upsetting. I mean, this has been going on for a long time, and why can't we find out anything? The police aren't telling us nothing. I mean, if the parents did do it, how the hell did they not catch them? Good morning, Melissa. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see everybody this morning. Yes, that's what I think. I think everybody's focused on them so much. And I really felt from the beginning that if somebody did take her, they picked her because partly because of who her parents were, and that everybody would focus on them. They think they're bad parents and start looking for a way to prove it was them. And then meanwhile, they're getting away, no problem at all because everybody's looking at those parents. I really think whoever did it, whoever targeted her, did it because of her parents and their lifestyle, and knew exactly how it would go. Think about that. If parents are drug addicts and they're kind of borderline or whatever, and they don't look so great, to a predator, that's probably an excellent opportunity to take a kid because nobody's even going to look for you. They're going to look at those parents. Yeah. How do you sell a kid? I've thought the whole time this is a ludicrous fucking concept. How do you sell a kid? I don't know. I don't know how. I know it's illegal. So I imagine if you tried to do it anywhere on social media, you're going to get caught. I I don't understand, and those people aren't on the dark web. They don't got onion. They're not, hiding their IP. They don't know how to do that shit. They only got phones, I think. Traffic. I know people keep saying that. Explain to me how that happens. Explain to me if you have a kid and you go, okay, I want money. I'm going to take this kid and get money for it. Tell me how you do that. What do you do? Yeah, they know a lot of odd people. The guy lived, that neighbor was weird. That's the thing is people are so busy focusing on the parents, you're not noticing that the people around them are even more fucked up than they are. And the odds of them doing something to that little girl are even higher. Yeah, I think so. I think they are messed up, but they still love their children. There's people like that all over this country that live kind of poor. They have their own substance issues because of the things they dealt with when they were growing up that they haven't addressed. And everybody just kind of goes along living like that. It's not nice and it's not pretty and it's not a good way for kids to grow up. But at the same time, there's a lot of people like that and they don't kill their kids. Yeah, I think that church is just creepy. And I think the family's brainwashed towards the church a bit, you know. Okay, this is what everybody needs to remember. Cadaver dogs did not hit on their property. The dogs that detect death did not detect death. So now your explanation has to include that. So if the parents killed her, they took her somewhere else and did it. See, now that this is getting more far fetched. See, this is, it's a criminal, it's a case. So you have to really look at it that way. She couldn't have been in the septic tank because the dog says she weren't. I trust the dogs. What those dogs say, those are the real professionals. I'm sure they already did. I'm sure they already did. Yeah, I heard that theater group was going there and praying, but they could have just felt bad about summer and decided to go to the prayer vigil. That's possible. I mean, they're a group in the community, and they could have all said, "Oh, that's horrible." They're having a thing. Oh, hey, let's go. You know, that's possible. Yeah, they still need to look, but if she was there, the dogs would have picked it up. So now she wasn't dead yet when the cops were there? Well, then why didn't the other dogs find her if she was still on the property? What are you, psychic? Maybe she's in somebody else's septic tank. Maybe you're off. Dogs and searchers have been all over everywhere up there. She's not up there. Yeah, religious people can be quite weird. Is that one of the ways they pull people into their church? I do find their church a bit sketchy. Reverend Donna, oh, that's some psychic lady that's going around YouTube telling everybody she knows what happened. That shit's rude. It is. Especially if the parents don't want to hear what a psychic has to say. If nobody wants their help, they should just be quiet. Yeah, they do. Churches do. Oh. Well, if you're Seventh day, aren't you supposed to not listen to psychics? I totally like psychics. I watch psychic detectives. I think we should give every case to a psychic, but People coming out on their own and saying on YouTube and things like that. I don't know if that's right. Sandy, that's a real good point. I don't know why they wouldn't have found her though if she wandered off. I've kind of wondered if maybe she wandered down to the road and somebody picked her up or hit her or something like that. And see, the parents say, "Oh, she wouldn't go off the hill. She doesn't leave the hill." There's all kids do that, and there's always a first time for it. Like when I was a kid, they'd said the same thing until that one time I did. Hmm. See, parents say, "Oh, my kid never wanders off. They're really good. They stay right here." Until that one day they do it. It's part of a growing up thing. One day kids just go further than they're supposed to. They're testing the limits of the world. Like if I go further than am I supposed to, am I going to burst into flames? Oh no, I didn't. Okay, yeah. Anybody that calls themselves a reverend and is doing psychic things too, I'm a little skeptical of. I mean, if we're going to go on psychic intuition, which is sort of what it is, you can, debate what it is. I always felt like whoever took her parked in the crook of the driveway and came up the trail by where I feel like they watched from where the school bus is. The school bus being in that open spot there with all them vehicles always made me nervous, like somebody could hide there and watch and nobody would see them. It'd make it super easy. You just wait there for a bit. Wait till she's somewhere where nobody can see her and you grab her and run off down the trail. And get in your red truck and take off. And they don't issue an Amber Alert or anything for 24 hours. So she's like, 2 or 3 states away by the time anybody's ever really looking for her. I go back and forth with all kinds of things. For woo woo has no place in real investigation. Well, to be honest, no, there are psychics that are very professional and very good that work with police. And if anybody is going to be messing with the case that's a psychic, it should be one of those people. Somebody that is an actual psychic that has worked with police and has good results. Um, I think the abduction theory looks more likely the longer it goes on. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I mean, really, if you're a thinking person, the more you get different bits of news or evidence or whatever, you adjust what you think. You know, I think, yeah, I mean, I thought maybe the boys heard her and they covered it up, but really, there's no, if cadaver dogs didn't pick up on it. Oh, you've been up all night searching. Oh, oh, you want me to name one? Have you ever seen the show Psychic Detectives? It goes over cases that were solved by psychics and talks to the police officers that worked with the psychics, the information they gave that was instrumental to breaking the case. Like I don't really need to convince you, if there's a show that'll do it. You know what I mean? Go watch it. It's good. Especially if you like true crime and stuff, you'll like it. There's a lady on there named Marilyn that's really good. Well, you know, kind of how I look at it. Nobody else has found her. I don't know why we don't let that. I mean, everybody else is saying what they think. So a psychic saying what they think isn't any different, is it? I sort of, yeah, I kind of feel like Grandma might have something to do with it. Why did they do it though? What's the motive? What's the point of all of it? David, the guy that's been up all night. Have you been up all night looking into it? You know, we'll listen to you. What do you got? And money. See, people always say that. And money. Well, you got to explain how that works, though. You can't just, put your kid in a basket on the porch and then go out in the morning and they're replaced with money. That's not how that works. I think now, since the beginning, because they knew CPS was coming the next day, I thought they might have wanted to hide her to keep her out of the foster system because, bad shit happens in the foster system. That was one of my first theories, and I really liked it because she's fine, right? I think the law enforcement not issuing the Amber Alert till the next day was a big mistake. We should treat every child missing like it's a kidnapping until we can prove it was something else. I've thought that too. Robin's weird. And why she let that little kid love all over her and touch her like that? I used to go to church when I was a child and everybody loved everybody, but people were not all handsy like that. Why do you want to believe such horrible things, Lisa? When the facts don't even point to that. They I don't understand how people think these people are criminal fucking masterminds that can fucking sell a child and everything else. Okay, now, okay, let's go. Let's examine your. She was getting ready to go to school, and it would have blown it sky high. I want to point out something to you guys that you probably haven't thought of. Candace went and registered for her for school already. She had her shots, and she was all ready to go to school. She didn't have to do it that early. That girl could have been missing till about now, and nobody would have noticed. She wasn't in school. Her world was small. They could have told the people at church went with grandma on her trip. They could have covered it up so easily for months and months and months because she wasn't in school. Her world was small. They could have made excuses for her absence, and they didn't do that. Yeah, I thought David Dodson was weird. I didn't like him. I did not like him. I mean, really, but you have to explain everything. If you want to say the parents sold her, you have to explain it. If there's a hole there that you can't explain, your theory's no good. I don't know about a Tennessee law about reporting within 24 hours, but my point is if they had done something with her, they could have just kept it a secret, and nobody would have known nothing for a long, long time. No, that is not a real CPS report. CPS reports are not worded that way. Go watch the video by Talk with Terry where she explains the report. She works as a child advocate. She knows all about CPS reports. They aren't written that way. It's fake. They're not written that way. Chris McDonough has been trying to railroad him. He's been trying to railroad since he wanted to look in his shed. And Candace was like, "Well, he keeps his tools in there. I guess you can." And he made out like nobody would let him in the shed. Don's hiding in the shed. And ever since, he's been doing this whole weird thing where he's after Don. Cops get a hard on for somebody and they just don't let up. That's why the cases go unsolved. What? Oh my God. What? Because I don't like Chris McDonough, the man that railroads children. The first people he talked to in this case were Allie and Hunter, and the first thing Hunter did was admit to sneaking through Candace's phone and then lying to her about it, and was really proud of it. I don't know why would take his word about anything. I don't. If a teenager that thinks sneaking around and getting away with shit is cool, I'm not going to believe them. Go ahead and unsub. I have my own opinions. They're not the same as yours. Sorry. Because I don't like Chris McDonough. I kind of think if he wants to solve cases still, why isn't he still a cop? That's a good question. It is. It's a good question if he wants to solve cases. Yes, I know. I got the same shit from MLB. Sorry about that. I'm getting messages. See, if you want to say the parents sold her for money, you have to explain how a person does that. How does a regular person that wants to sell their kid go about selling their kid and not getting detected? Because that's pretty hard. Yeah, I know. I think that's really weird. 2 days after the girl goes missing, grandma takes off. I think that's the strangest thing about the case. I really do. I don't. Yeah, the way he's handled things is really, really bad. So, like, what are we left with? I mean, everybody was so sure it was the parents, but we're this far in. Why can't the cops catch them? Cadaver dogs did not hit on the property. One of the other dogs followed her scent down the trail into the road. He is. He's the one that did all this. It was Chris McDonough. As soon when he interviewed that, because I watched it and I thought, why would he talk to such a petty woman, somebody that has such an axe to grind from the jump? That's bad reporting. It's just bad all over the place. He turned it into a three-ring circus from the beginning. No, I think maybe if law enforcement had handled it differently from the beginning, we might have answers now. I think that's quite likely. I don't know why it's gone on this long if it's the parents. It doesn't make any sense at all. It really doesn't. Yes, you're right, Eddie. That's what I think. I hope they change some. I hope we find out soon, but it's not looking like we're going to. I feel bad, about the whole thing. What did happen to her? People think, well, the parents sold her or putting her in the septic tank or whatever, but if that's the case, why can't they prove it? All those things would be easy to prove. Yeah, right down to the road. But she wasn't abducted. And that truck, they're just a witness. Yeah, I mean, if she was kidnapped, let's hope that's the case because then she'd still be alive anyway. But most people that kidnap children, it's not for that reason. It's because they're sick. And I don't mean sick like, oh, let's help them. I mean like messed up in the head. They are too quiet. Are they covering up something? Are they, just not doing a very good job? I don't I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make them mad at me, but I'm concerned about how this has went. Yeah, me too. I was never convinced that they did it. There wasn't everything against them circumstantial. It's people that don't like them as people and their lifestyle. And so they just assume they killed their kid. And you have to, if you're going to do that, you have to explain it. You have to be able to explain every bit of it, like how you sell a kid without getting caught. I mean, you advertise your kid somewhere, somebody's going to turn you in. You can't just go put her on the street and go, wait for somebody to offer money. I don't understand how people think that's what happened. I don't think they were on the deep web making a listing to sell their daughter. Do you? I don't think they have an actual computer. They have phones. I don't know if they know about the deep web. Yeah. I hope they change gears and solve it soon. Because it's on them. It's been on them the whole time. Yeah. Well, they do, but you have to be able to explain how they sold their kid if that's, what your theory about what happened to them. I see sick people trying to read things into something that aren't there. He explained it. It said for sale because the guy was selling the barrel. It doesn't matter if she's dancing around a barrel that says for sale if you cannot explain how a parent sells a child. Good morning. You have to be able to explain how a parent sells a child for that to be a valid argument. You really do. I don't know how that works. I can't figure out how you go about selling a human being without getting caught. Good morning, Justice for Victims. And what is it about them that's not truthful? There's a guy on here that's a deductionist to watch their entire interview. They can tell if people are lying by the things they do while they're talking. And it's a really, really reliable way to tell if somebody is lying. And he says Candace is truthful the whole time. Don does some weird eye batting, but Candace is completely honest. He does it for a living. So when he tells me she's not lying, I think he's probably right. No, his name is Ben Carhill, I do believe. Yeah, I know. See, I'm with you, David. That's sort of my thinking that, somebody that people wouldn't suspect so much kind of slink their way in. And because the parents were so bad, but then wouldn't they tell the police that that's what happened? Nobody is going to loan them that much money. I mean, you think these people are going to be in drug debt for $50,000? Who's going to do that? Nobody's going to let them go into debt for $50,000. Well, just because that's what you do doesn't mean the for sale on the barrel. You know where I'm from, people spray paint for sale on a barrel and stick it by a car they have for sale. They'll stick it next to whatever they have for sale. It's their for sale barrel. No meth dealer wants somebody's fucking kid. Are you kidding? They don't want their own kids. That's the truth. They don't want their own kids. They don't want somebody else's. Yeah. They could be fucked up druggies and bad parents and everything else. And it doesn't mean they did it. That's all circumstantial. Everybody gets like gut triggered and they think they know. And so they don't look at facts anymore. They just go based on their feelings. And that's not correct. You really have to look at the facts. If you want to say they sold their kid, you have to explain how you sell a kid. No, nobody is. And nobody's going to loan them people $50,000 either. Would you loan them $50,000? Then I'm pretty sure a drug dealer wouldn't either. You need good credit with them too. Yeah, people just make a bad life choice and still want their kids. And no drug dealer wants somebody else's kid. Kids aren't like cash. You can't go buy things with a kid. You have to be able to explain how they did it. You can't say somebody sold their kid and then not explain it. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. If you want a kid that bad, you're going to grab one for free. This fucking crazy world people live in where you know who these people are. You're QAnon people, aren't you? You think everybody's fucking selling kids back and forth and shit for devil worship. People believe some crazy things. They do. They believe some crazy things. Yeah, I try to stay rational and look at everything. People sure get mad at me though. Not supposed to do that. This is a witch hunt for the wells. Get your pitchfork and your torch. We're going up the hill. I think there's so much pressure on them people. And plus, you got to remember those kids are in foster care and they would have to know something. They would say something after this long. I know. And the people that believe in that stuff are crazy. And you get some of them on here, with the summer wells thing because they want to believe, everybody's sacrificing and selling children. I don't know what kind of mental disease that is, but it's really sad and disturbing. I'm glad I don't have it. And my mom used to say nobody's perfect. And every single one of these parents that comes on here and picks them apart, this says they sold their kids, it says all these horrible things about them. Somewhere in their life, they're not a perfect parent either. Just nobody's looking at them under a microscope. And they need to think about what that would be like for them. Because it's true. My mom said all the time, nobody's perfect. And no parent is perfect. Really, if I had $250,000, I'd probably buy a Tesla. I know it's just junk, like all the other junk. Yeah, it's people just they want to believe like the most salacious thing that there is to it, and really the fact of the matter is it's probably something really sad and simple. She probably was playing and ran down the trail. She ran out in front of a car. They hit her. She wasn't dead yet. They threw her in the back of the car and took her somewhere and buried her. See, that's probably what's going to be what happened to her. It's going to be something simple and sad. It isn't going to be all this drama and all these evil villains and horror players. It's just going to be something sad. That's how it always turns out. It's not the big dramatic thing, it's just the sad thing. Yeah. Exactly, T. Smith. Or on her shirt or something. She was just a little girl playing in the rain. Y'all think naughty, horrible things. Oh, yeah. They need to leave her alone. Can you imagine having something so horrible happen to you and then have people just picking you apart like vultures over your dead carcass? That's exactly what it's like. Yeah, I mean, even if you think she did it, it doesn't make it okay to behave the way people are behaving. It really doesn't. Because you don't know for sure. You don't. Or all these people saying all these horrible things about them, if it is later proven that it was something else, are they going to all sit down and write a handwritten letter apologizing to them? No, they're not. They're going to go on with their life and act like it don't even fucking matter what they did. You watch. That's why you shouldn't say things like that about people. That stuff's on you, you know. Whether you feel bad for about it or not, if you did something that's, a really wrong thing to do, that's still a mark on you, whether you feel bad about it or not. All parents make mistakes and do stupid shit. Most parents are lucky enough that when they turn back around, their kid's still there. But that not everybody. And I mean, all these people that say so many horrible things about them, they have children themselves. Like, do you want to tempt fate that way? So that you end up in their shoes and you see what it's like? Because I certainly would not. I wouldn't tempt fate like that. Yeah, yes. It's all slander. If you can't prove it in a court of law, that's slander. It is. Yeah. Maybe Bigfoot. It may have been Bigfoot, but probably not. Because they're out in the woods and shit. They didn't detect any smell of death on the property. Nobody can explain to me how you sell a kid. You have a lot of stories, David. I think it's very possible people didn't like those people and how they were living, and they took her because of that. I mean, it's the fairy tale theory that somebody saw her and with money and just took her, and now she lives as a rich princess. I kind of think so too, but they detected no smell of death at the property. Yeah, and I've been following that stuff for like 2 decades. Those people know what they're talking about. No, it's okay. It's okay. But I understand your point, David. Yeah, there's lots of reasons people would want to take a kid. I think so too. There's this video where Summer's seeing lightning and she don't know what it is. She keeps going, "Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that, Mama?" And Candace says, "That's lightning, sweetheart." And like just the exchange between them, you can tell that's a real loving relationship between a mother and her child. Like it's. There's care between them both. It doesn't, matter what you think about Candace. Real, it's kind of the way Summer talks to her in that video that, like, that's her mama. What if she's alive and comes back? With somebody else and she sees all the horrible things everybody said about her family. She wouldn't like that. Y'all think you're fighting for her, but she wouldn't like what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I see you going around lots of things, Lisa, and putting forth your strange ideas. You sure there wasn't some satanic sacrifice right there in the yard that doesn't appeal to you more? Because you people really like that sort of thing. See, there's a point. You don't even take it seriously. It's some fun drama game to you. And it's a missing kid. And you go around spreading all this horrible stuff about everybody without proof. And then when everybody else doesn't agree with you, now it's aliens. How old are you, Lisa? The first time I saw her, I thought she might be a little autistic. It's no wonder she didn't want to talk to people. And she talked to Chris. And then after that, Dawn talked to him and everything went downhill. So she don't talk to nobody now. That came from Allie. I thought to begin with she had, um, some issue that she was dealing with that made things more difficult for her than other people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eddie, I agree with that. And she trusted him, and he screwed them over. That guy violates my ethics. Chris does. He does things that I find unethical on the reg. Yeah, I think so too. And she like posted these TikTok videos all the time. Why isn't it? Why aren't any of you suspect that somebody saw those videos, targeted that girl, found them, and took her? Most child trafficking, the parent doesn't sell their kid into trafficking. Somebody kidnaps the kid and they sell the kid into trafficking because they know how to do it. They already have the connections. Yeah, took her places, dressed her up like, let her do cute things to her hair she wanted to do. Like, she was a little princess. To me, it looked like they spoiled her a bit. You know, I don't. I think a lot of people just don't understand poor people. Oh yeah, because this is the time for joking. Yeah, that's what I mean. It would have been very easy. And we warn people that shit all the time. And then this little girl goes missing. And everybody goes, oh, the parents did all this shit to her. Well, no, the parents put her online because they were proud of her. And that's a mistake. You're not supposed to do that because a pedo will see your pretty little kid and hunt you down. Older than me. Why are you making jokes while we're talking about a missing girl? How old are you if you think you're older than me? That, I, you know, Chris really attracts people that are just mad, aren't they? Well, you go around first thing in the morning looking for people to argue with. That's what you do. No, I don't. I think that's a lame motive. A bunch of, and that's everybody's motive too. You all get this from Chris or something. She registered her for school. Her world was small. They could have kept her hidden up on that hill for a very long time and nobody would have ever fucking noticed. They could have homeschooled her. No, let's not homeschool her, Don. Let's kill her instead. I'm not. Well, no, that's what all his people are saying. They probably ruined the investigation because they made it all about Don and Jeannie's bullshit. And yes, I support victims of SA, but if you're going to wait till your niece goes missing and then come out and talk shit on YouTube to get attention for yourself, I am not going to respect you at all. You should have went to the police. You should have done it when the little girl was born, not wait till something happened to her. All that's suspect. Her timing is very suspicious. If this had happened, you would think she would have wanted to say something before something happened to the girl, not after. I don't respect that. You know what? Chris makes a fuck ton of money by being salacious, by causing trouble, by doing all this drama where he has Mary call them and set them up. Like, you're all grown ass adults. I assume you were raised by relatively decent people. Why do you think this shit's okay? You know it's not. To trick somebody into calling somebody else and telling them some bullshit to see what they'll say, and then you record it and put it on your YouTube broadcast. You really think that shit is okay? It isn't. That's nefarious. It's underhanded. It's sneaky. He's a purveyor of bullshit. Now people are being stolen for body parts because of COVID. Okay. If everybody's going to put out their crazy, crazy theory, let's get them out. Make yourself feel better. Just put it out there. Yeah, he makes a lot of money by stirring up bullshit and saying things that aren't true. If I wanted to, I could come on here and say things that aren't true either. I could make some clickbait title and fucking go to town, and I'd be big and like by tomorrow. But I'm not like that. I don't believe in that. Yeah, me too, Eddie. I want to put that one up. No, a sensible. I'm talking about a sensible chat. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And there's people throwing out aliens and all kinds of bullshit. I am fair. Sometimes people don't like that. I try to remain objective and see the big picture. Because if you get lost in all the bullshit, you'll never solve it. She'll just be lost forever. And it'll be everybody's fault for getting caught up in the bullshit, turning it into a circus instead of a search for a missing child. We're left with that weird old man across the road that didn't like his neighbors. Well, I mean, if you say something that's outlandish, don't be surprised if people react to it like it's outlandish, right? That's fair. Yeah. Well, just try it by YouTube. This is like the fucking Salem witch trials, y'all. You don't know that? Chris McDonough is the fucking witch hunter. And you're doing it to people that have lost all their children. And then if they didn't do that and you treated them like that, yeah, I think you'll be in trouble for that. I mean, okay, you complain about getting attacked, but you got to realize everybody goes around. This is a weird age. Everybody goes around saying exactly what they want to say. And then when people respond to what they said, based on the facts of what they said, the person will get upset that they have to hear the person's response to what they said. If you don't want people to react like you're talking crazy, don't talk crazy. I don't know when everybody lost their good sense. I'm old fashioned. I was raised by older people. I'm a bit older myself. And nonsense was not tolerated. No nonsense. I get in so much trouble for nonsense. Okay. No nonsense. Well, no, but I'm saying that sounds like what you want to believe. I mean, that's the lane you're riding in. Why don't you go there? To me, it seems like more viciousness just towards the parents. Not that there's any proof or anything else, just that people don't like them. And so they want to be nasty. Yeah, that's what I think too, MK. Exactly. I've wanted to keep it about Summer the whole time. I know getting caught up in all the other stuff is bullshit and drama. It's rumors, gossip, slander, no proof to any of it. It's people looking at somebody deciding they don't like them and wanting to rip them apart. That's all it is. And you need to ask yourself why you're that way. Because you don't know these people. You just see some things about them, you hear some rumors about them, and think you know. And then it's okay for you to decide to behave that way towards them because you know. But the things you're taking in and forming your opinion on aren't valid things to form an opinion on a person from. They're not. Y'all gonna have to live with that. You need to ask yourself why you're doing that, why you're so hateful. You don't have to be. And you also need to, you know, don't listen to Chris McDonough. He's a snake in the grass. He'd frame you too, you know. He would. He'd frame you too. Oh, are you talking about the neighbor? Or are you talking about Chris? You're talking about what's his name, Dobbs, the guy across the road, the sneaky fucker. Yeah, I don't like him either. And then his alibi picture, very suspect, very suspect. Because in the picture, like the lines on the parking lot are faded, right? Everything needs a paint job. If you went over there now, or like when you said he was there, all that's been repainted. You don't know who Dobbs is. The creepy old man that was living, camping on the property next door that posts pictures of missing children all the time now. You don't know about him. Yeah, they're two different separate things. They are. Playing doctor with your sister is a lot different than murdering your 5-year-old and disposing of her body. Yeah, that could be T. Smith. I really think. I mean, because somebody could have hit her and she wasn't dead. They threw her in the car and went and buried her somewhere. Like it. That's what I think. It'll just be really sad. It's not going to be anything salacious or horrible or anything else. It's just going to be some sad mishap, a mistiming. You know, because he wants to keep people thinking about summer. No, he said he wasn't there that day. His alibi don't check out. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Go with that. No, I didn't hear he bought the land off Dawn. The hotel, that's a faked picture, yo. That's what I was talking about. He'd been there previously and took a picture of his dog there, right? Right after this happened. Who was it? I think it was Cracking Cases because they live in the area. They went out there and took a picture. And like the lines in the parking lot have been repainted. The storm drains have been repainted since Dobbs' photo was taken. He said it was taken on the 15th, right? Well, he lied. That picture was taken a different time because all of that should have been repainted. The picture isn't accurate. Hi, Danny. How you doing, sweetie? But no, that picture's been debunked. His alibi is screwy. We're trying to figure out why we haven't solved Summer Wells yet. And everybody must be off because if they was on the right track, we would have solved it. If it was the parents, they should have solved it. Yeah, I mean, just because he took a picture saying he was at a hotel, which really doesn't add up, doesn't mean you couldn't have went down there. It doesn't mean a lot of things. They're on the wrong track somewhere because they haven't solved it yet. Why did they wait to put out the Amber Alert? Why did they say she was not abducted, but they haven't solved it? Because it seems like they would have solved it if that was the case. Yeah, I know it's horrible. It breaks my heart. It's disgusting the things people say without proof. Well, maybe he had somebody who was related to sell it for him. I think people focus on parents too much because I think if the parents did it, we would have caught them. I mean, if the parents have did it and law enforcement has not figured it out by now, what the fuck are they doing? And people are a train wreck, right? I mean, they do not cover their butts well. I think we can all agree on that. Oh, don't apologize, David. You're very lovely. I probably should hop off here. I've been here for an hour and a half, so I should probably, go do stuff. But I wanted to. I've been thinking about talking about this for about a week now because it's really bothering me. They don't tell us anything. They haven't solved it. We aren't any closer than we were the day she went missing. And to be honest, we're just 94 days further away, is what we are. The more time goes by, the less likely. So, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right too, NK. It's not the time or place. When a kid's missing, the only thing that matters is that that kid is missing. Grown ass fucking women can take care of themselves. The tree people, yeah. Yeah, I saw your message. I emailed you, or I gave you my email address. I was checking for it for an email from you. Did you write me? Here, let me go see. And then I need to jump off here and do stuff. I don't have anything from you. I don't have. I saw your message. I gave you my email address. Did you get it? Well, can you give me the gist of it? Yeah. To me, that's just a sign that she's a vindictive woman. That's it. Just like Allie, they're just vindictive, and you can see the spite by when they choose to act in what way. Okay, email me. You got my email right? Mhm. I'm almost done. People are waiting for me. Okay, I'll put it in the thing in case you don't have it. You have any thoughts or anything, y'all? Here, no, I'll put it up there. Guys can email me. If you send me nastiness, I'll report you. So don't do that. Be an adult, okay? Not you, just people in general. Yeah, I know she's so jealous of her. I suspect her. That's why I'm going. Why won't she would let? She don't let nobody in her house. And Hunter went to New York, And she has friends that are pedophiles. Y'all should be more worried about Allie selling her because she got connections. Okay, I gotta hop off here because I got stuff to do. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. I hope they solve this stuff soon because I'm getting really mad about it. If you come up with any good theories, shoot me an email. Leave a comment. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel because I'm an itty bitty tiny YouTuber. I don't make no money. I do this for the love of it. So please support me. I'd appreciate it so very much. I hope y'all have a great Sunday, and I'll probably be